Good day, YouTube family. Good to see everybody. This is your emotional coach, Brad Rett, coming today to kind of talk to you and give you some emotional nuggets for today. Today, we're going to talk about belief systems and as it relates to emotional wellness or emotions. So our belief system, as we understand it, are the things that we've experienced over time, and we've gotten certain results based on those experiences. And we believe in our minds and in our inner being that this is the honest truth. This is the gospel outcome of what's going to happen if you partake in certain behaviors. So, for example, if I were to go into a clothing store and I see a particular outfit and then I try the outfit on, and let's say I come out of the booth with the outfit on and somebody sees me and starts laughing. Now, what's going to happen is in my belief system, I'm going to feel embarrassed as far as like the emotions. I'm going to feel embarrassed. I'm going to feel some type of shame. And this is going to be recorded in my conscious right now as a negative happening or a negative event. So as I take the clothes off and go into the booth and take the clothes off and I go home, meanwhile, I'm rehearsing how this scene went over and over again as I leave the store, as I go to my car, as I go home, as I sit and reflect before I go to bed at night. I have now moved this experience from my conscious, where I've experienced it, I've seen it, I've touched it, can't taste it, but I've used all my five senses that I could possibly use to experience this experience. And now I go home and I rehearse this in my conscious, and it goes down into my subconscious. So what happens is this emotion or this particular situation began to adapt certain emotions or relate certain emotions or tie certain emotions to a particular experience. So now whenever I put clothing on, I'm going to remember that situation. Or I probably will never go into a clothing store and come out of the booth. I'll just go in there and try on the clothes and never come out. So now this becomes a part of my belief system. So in order for it to move into my belief system, it has to be pressed down into my subconscious mind through my experiences, which is my consciousness, which is my awareness. I'm aware that somebody laughed at me when I came out of the dressing room at the outfit that I had on. So now, is this particular situation going to happen all of the time? Probably not. But the underlying point of this all is that now this particular experience has been ingrained in my belief system. So therefore, the emotions of shame, fear, embarrassment is now attached to me going and putting on clothing. So now I have what some call trapped emotions. These emotions have been trapped into my subconscious mind. And so now anytime I deal with clothing, I'm going to remember what happened in that particular event when I went to go try some clothing on. So I gave you that example to get you to understand that our belief system that we developed through our core senses and we began to rehearse, that is how it moves down into our belief system and become the gospel truth to us. That becomes our truth. And this is a very sensitive area or a sensitive subject to many, because many people come undone when their truth gets challenged. That means that you have trapped emotions. that means that this particular experience has become enormous enough to where the red flag goes up whenever you relate this experience to an article of clothing, a clothing store. You're seeing something on TV that, oh, that's a nice outfit. All of a sudden, you zero back in on that situation. So today, I'm going to give you a little nugget on some things you can do to release yourself from these trapped emotions. So one, I'm going to give you an example. Does anybody remember the Chinese handcuffs? And I hope I'm using the proper term for it. But back when we were kids, they had something called Chinese handcuffs. And there was this woven fabric or weave basket material, and it wrapped around each one of your fingers. You stuck your finger in it. And as you pulled away to try to pull your finger out, the more tight that the sleeve would get on your finger, and you would find yourself, you can't get out of it. But the key to getting out of it was pressing in and giving in and pushing in forward and pulling yourself out. This concept or this illustration is the same method that you could possibly use, or that I use, to detach myself from certain emotions, or it could be even a trauma, something that became a emotional trauma to me. But if you see or picture those Chinese handcuffs, in order to get out of them, you had to press in. So this means that you have to meet that particular trauma head on. So I use the example of the clothing store. So now I have to go back and think. I was like, so what was going on? Why did I feel embarrassed? Why am I so concerned about that person laughing? I've accepted the fact that it happened. I've accepted the feelings that I derived or I began to feel as I began to run through the embarrassment and run through the shame and just all out, just calling this a negative event, and now associating clothing with embarrassment and all those feelings. I now have to deal with those. I now have to face those. So guess what? I'm pressing in. Yeah, the person laughed. Yeah, that might not have been the best outfit that I should have picked. Or maybe that outfit didn't fit my body type. But these are some things that we have to deal with and look at. And also we have to be honest with ourselves and look at certain things. And well, you know, I did like the outfit, but I could afford to lose a few pounds in order to get into the outfit to make it look nice on me. See, these are some things that we have to deal with. So you have to deal with your truths, and you have to be totally honest with yourself. You have to deal with those particular things, and you have to deal with the feelings. So you have the feelings and you have the truths. So now we're pressing in on them, and they've come together. And now that I've pressed my fingers together, which is the illustration of the Chinese handcuffs, I can now just slide both of my fingers out. Now that I've dealt with the feelings, I've dealt with the situation, I've dealt with my truths, my insecurities, now I can move forward and not attach clothing stores, clothing, or someone laughing at me when I put an outfit on to enjoying wearing a nice outfit. That was your emotional nugget for today. So if you don't remember anything else, you're going to have to assess those feelings. You're going to have to deal with those feelings. So you got to process them. Why am I feeling this way? What made me feel this way? What is this attached to? Because certain emotions are attached to other emotions that came from something in the past. So now you have to literally go back in and you began to, so to speak, began to pull and began to pull. And you see that this is attached to this and attached to this until you get to the bottom line of why did I really feel this way? Why do I have this negative disposition on going into a clothing store? Hope I've been able to help you. This is your emotional wellness coach. Don't run from emotions. Don't run from negative experiences. Meet them head on. Understand your truth. Be honest with yourself. And then you can release those emotions. Have a wonderful day. Be positive on purpose. And I hope that you find everything in your day that you were looking for. And I'm glad that you're here, and you could have been anywhere in the world, but you decided to be here with me. I hope this has helped you for today. More videos to come. Have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday.